We haven't gone live yet, so, or maybe I have and I don't know that I have. Is anyone on the stream itself? If you can hear us, type in the live chat.
We're live on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, we do start Berkeley time. Let me share screen and see if that shows up. Okay, looks like everything's up and running. Yeah, we're starting at Berkeley time. FYI, there's a lag between Zoom and YouTube. So things we say will probably end up on YouTube about 30 seconds after we say them. Thanks for coming, everybody. Alrighty, it is 5:10, so I think we're gonna get started now. Thank you for everyone who's been patient, and thanks for enjoying this minutes of silence with us. I realize I maybe should have been playing music, but yeah, oops. Welcome to the Decal info session for innovative design. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what each of our decals have to offer, and we'll try to get all of your questions answered regarding logistics or content or anything else. But first, a little bit about innovative design. Well, what is innovative design? We are a student organization on campus that provides design services to on-campus and off-campus organizations, but we also provide educational programs, for example, all of our decals. We try to foster design community on campus through these decals and events, and we have a ton of other things going on this semester, so keep your eyes peeled on our Facebook or Instagram for our other activities. And we'll have more information about those at the end of the presentation. And we have 3 decals. They are Intro to Photoshop and Illustrator, Graphic Design Principles, and Photography Principles. And I'm gonna have our DFACs from each of these decals talk about what each of the classes are. And I realized I didn't add TAs to the slides. Sorry about that, but TAs, if you want to introduce yourself, please do so. So I'm going to pass it off to Sahil now to talk about intro.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sahil, and I'm one of the Decal facilitators. We call ourselves DFACs for short, for the Intro to Photoshop and Illustrator decal. So as the name implies, this decal is going to teach you about Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. One thing that I want to make clear right off the bat is that this class, the primary focus is on getting good at the software and getting technically proficient, knowing what each of the tools does and when to use them. The secondary focus is on design theory and how you're designing and what you're designing. So I want to make that really clear. The primary focus of this decal is to teach you how to get really good at using Illustrator and Photoshop to make what you want, but it's not going to focus as much on thinking about what you want to make. So that being said, we do have, like part of the course is an introduction to graphic design trends and basic theory. So it's not like there's no design thinking involved at all. It's just not the primary focus. One thing to note about this decal is it's kind of our first step. It's the intro class. And so there's no prior design experience necessary. We're not going to be looking for a portfolio or anything like that. Instead, our application is going to be a couple of short answer questions, nothing too long. And in that, what we're looking for is enthusiasm and a willingness to learn. So don't worry about showing any prior artwork or anything like that. Now, speaking of what you're gonna learn, specifically, we'll be going over things like how you can make isometric art, how you can make text-based posters, how you can make illustrations in Illustrator. Then we'll be talking about how you can retouch things in Photoshop, retouch pictures of yourself or another person, how you can combine different photos to make a photo composition. And then we do some more fun things too, like a project where you make your own movie poster, infographic, and album art for some music that you like. So it's a really fun class. You're going to learn how to get really comfortable with these two programs. And talking a bit about class structure itself, the way the class is set up is we have a 1-hour weekly lecture where the instructors will be explaining tools and demonstrating how they work. Then there's approximately 1 hour of what we call tutorial. This is kind of like your lab section. And in that, you'll be watching us, well, not watching, you'll be following along with your instructors as we create a piece together. And then for your homework assignment for that week, you'll be doing what you learned in class and tutorial and making something by yourself. So approximately, you can expect to spend 3 to 4 hours per week on this class, 1 hour in class, 1 hour in tutorial, and then 1 to 2 hours on homework, depending on how creative and detailed you want to get. So here are all the decal facilitators. We're all going to introduce ourselves. I'll start us off. So once again, my name is Sahil. I have been teaching this class. This will be my 6th semester teaching this class, and I'm really excited. Every semester, it's super interesting for me to see how the students take what we teach them in the lessons and tutorials and then put their own unique spin on them for the homeworks. So really excited.
Hi, I can go next. My name is Ryan. I am a junior and I'm majoring in MCB. And this is the first semester that I will be teaching the intro class. I'm really excited to teach it this semester. I hope I get to know those of you that do come to the synchronous part of the lecture. And I'm really excited to get to know everybody.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a 3rd year studying cognitive science and data science, and this is also my first semester teaching the Decal. I'm really excited. I took it 2 years ago and I had a great experience. Had never touched an Adobe program before, and I hope to give that all to you guys.
Hi, my name is Gloria. I am a senior, and this is going to be my 3rd semester teaching the Decal, so I'm excited to teach it for my last semester.
And hi, I'm Emily. I'm a 3rd year. This is my 2nd semester teaching, and just really excited for this class because my design journey actually began with this Decal. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you everyone. So that was our 5 wonderful intro Decal instructors. And I think we have a little bit of, we have a little bit more information. So there's going to be 3 sections of this class. Each section is going to accommodate 30 students, and it's going to be Wednesdays, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Now, a question that's probably going to come up a lot is whether this class is asynchronous or synchronous, or what's the deal with that. So the way it's going to work for intro to Photoshop and Illustrator is we will allow students to take this class asynchronously. So you don't have to attend any of the Zoom meetings if you can't make it for time zone issues or something like that. Everything will be recorded and available for you to watch, but we cannot allow scheduling conflicts on Cal Central. So if you try and take this class and you try and enroll in Cal Central and you have another class that's also during this time, there's nothing we can do about that. So scheduling conflicts on Cal Central don't work, but if you get into the class and enroll, it's totally okay to take it asynchronously. And then I think we have some example work right here. So you can see we've got a couple of examples here, some illustrations, a couple of infographics, some isometric art, and a lyric poster. So this is the kind of stuff you can expect to learn how to create in Intro to Photoshop and Illustrator.
Cool. So that was a little bit about the intro class. I am going to talk a little bit about the other graphic design class that we offer called Graphic Design Principles. My name is Rachel. I'm a senior studying cognitive science, and this will be my 2nd semester teaching this course, and I love it a lot. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about it. I would say the thing that distinguishes the Intro to Illustrator and Photoshop class from Graphic Design Principles is that we do require a little bit of experience, maybe not necessarily with Illustrator or Photoshop as these platforms, but with design in general. So while Sahil mentioned that the Intro to Illustrator and Photoshop classes will be mostly technically based, mostly teaching you the tools so you can navigate how to create your own designs. Graphic design principles is kind of like the flip side of that. Like we'll be covering a lot more theory, we'll be covering a lot more practice, and we'll be covering like topics like typography or color theory, or like how to establish your own designs and like figure out what your own style is. Not to say that we won't ever cover anything technical ever, and you don't need to have like 100% technical proficiency in everything in order to take this course. It's just that this won't be the focus of lectures, and it might be something that if you do have technical difficulties with, we can cover in something like office hours. So that being said, that means that the application does include a portion for you to include like portfolio pieces, which are basically just any kind of design work that you've done in the past, just so we can get a gauge of like what level you're at and how much experience you've had in the past, and then figure out like where we can kind of go from there. So yeah, a much more sort of like theory-based class. There's a little bit less hands-on activity in class, and the lectures will be a little bit more of a traditional style lecture where we teach you about different topics every week. And the goal at the end is to have these like fully fleshed out pieces that you can put into a professional portfolio. So like longer case studies, things that take a little bit of like sort of building upon all these like different technical and theoretical concepts that you've learned in class. So yes, so you have to have a little bit of experience with Photoshop or Illustrator, or examples of past work that demonstrate some sort of design proficiency. Yeah. Cool. So as I said, I am the instructor for this course. There's only one course. It is around 25 students per section, and it is going to be at the same time as the other decals, which is Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Same as what Sahil mentioned, for the other course, we have an asynchronous option. So if you would like to, if you can't like make that time, if it's like really inconvenient for you, you can definitely like watch the lecture recordings, and we have a way for you to still like make sure that you're like participating in class and engaging in class asynchronously, but you cannot enroll if you have another block in your schedule during that time. Cool, and these are some examples of past GDP work. Yeah, so we'll cover a lot of different topics. So from like layout and typography, like color theory, building out like a brand guide, really getting comfortable with not only the tools, but also expressing your own style and like making sure that you're able to create the kind of designs that you want to create.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. So the last decal that we offer is Photography Principles. My name is Lilin. I'm a third year, and this is my fourth semester teaching this class. I'm really lucky to have seen a lot of really great work that has come out of this decal, so I'm really happy to teach it again. So this class sort of is a catch-all. People come into this class with varying different experiences and backgrounds with photography, so no matter what your experience is, you're bound to learn something from this class, but there is no prior experience necessary. So if you just have your camera and you have no idea how to use it, don't worry, we'll start off with that. So the class sort of progresses and builds on each other. So the first half of the class will be learning the basics of your camera, operating it on manual functions, and then we'll dive deeper into like compositions and post-processing techniques like using Lightroom and Photoshop to enhance your photos. And then the second half of the class is exploring different disciplines of photography. So we'll cover everything from landscape to portraiture, studio photography, all that stuff. So people are bound to find what they're passionate about in this class. And in addition to that too, not only are we focusing on taking photos, but we're also hoping to hone in your photo critiquing skills and your communication skills too. So it's very fun to see a progression of your photographic journey and have that open dialogue with your art. Next slide, please. So this class, to reiterate, is offered at the same time as the other classes. It is Wednesday 6:30 to 8:30, and this class actually has two sections. So I'm teaching one section with my two TAs, and then we also have a section and taught at the same time. So Elizabeth and Lorenzo, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tang. This is my second semester teaching the photo decal. Though it's online, I had a lot of fun seeing everybody's work and exploring a bunch of different styles last semester. So I really hope you can join us.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo. This is my first semester teaching the decal, and I'm just excited to get back into things and get to know y'all and have fun. So yeah.
Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Lilin. I'm a third year. I'm teaching, or I'm sorry, I'm majoring in civil engineering. Yeah, fourth time teaching, and then so the TAs will go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Terrence. I'm a fourth year CS major. And yeah, it's my first time TAing. Really excited to come teach you guys photography.
Hi, my name is Richard. I'm a fourth year studying physics and computer science. It's my first time teaching the class. Fun fact, I actually took this class in fall 2019 with Lilin, and I liked the class so much, I wanted to help contribute. So please take this class, it's very fun.
Yeah, okay, so a couple things just to field any questions that people may have about this class. Two really common questions. We are offering an asynchronous version. Both sections plan to do that in some sort of discussion board, a way where people can provide their feedback and critiques asynchronously on their own time. However, we do think that this class is very, very beneficial to take it synchronously, just because that face-to-face interaction is really important when it comes to having these conversations. And then another question that gets asked pretty often is like what kind of cameras you might need for this class. Typically, we traditionally have always offered it for people who have like a DSLR camera, but because this semester is online and people may not be able to go get those readily available, we just ask that your camera is able to operate in manual functions, because that's really beneficial to understanding the camera and how it works. So if you don't have a camera right now, don't feel discouraged. We can definitely work something out. There's some really, really cheap introductory cameras that are really affordable and really accessible. So don't let that detract away from applying for this class. The instructors will work with you and find something that'll work within your budget range or within reason. Yeah, so we can go to the next slide for some examples. And then we'll throw it back to Lindsay to finish off.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, our application for all of our decals are live right now. You can find them on innovativedesign.club/apply. They'll be due this upcoming Friday or next Friday. Yeah, whichever Friday that January 29th is, it'll be due at midnight Pacific. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the live chat right now. We have some really helpful InnoD folks answering those questions for us. But if you don't come up with a question, you have one later, or you have one about the application later, then you can email us at innod.decal@gmail.com. So I'm gonna quit sharing now. Maybe there's some questions we can address from the live chat. Let me pull that up. Yeah, so John asks, when will we know if we got accepted? You'll find out the weekend after the application is due, so the weekend after January 29th. And that's definitely the latest that you'll find out, because next Wednesday is, the Wednesday after applications are due is the first class. So we'll definitely let you know if you're accepted in the class that weekend. And yep, you are definitely allowed to apply to multiple courses. Thanks for getting that, Gloria. And yeah, for all of our decals, there will be an asynchronous option. But yeah, no schedule conflicts allowed in Cal Central. Good question. Oh, this is also a question we get a lot. Claire asks, what increases our odds of getting accepted? So I think we all have a few tips for approaching the application. It can be kind of hard to, I don't know, like I feel like I don't get a lot of questions about my design process or creative process in other contexts. So maybe the application is a little bit daunting. But what we're mostly looking for is interest in design, and for you to be really just honest with us about where your creative inspiration comes from, why design is interesting to you. And yeah, if you just be yourself and, you know, talk about things honestly and about your passions, then I think that your application will be good. And yes, Jason, we do have a wait list. And yeah, if anyone has anything to add, please feel free to chime in.
Someone asked how competitive is the application? In general, the applications are, I would say, moderately competitive. The fact that we are doing it online has made it a little less competitive, but I think our application stats last semester, at least for intro, was around 50%, if I remember correctly. I don't know about the other two decals.
Yeah, I would definitely say that like because general enrollment is down also, these are like the remote semesters have been kind of, I think, maybe slightly easier times to get into the course. But I think all the instructors are still working really hard to try to make sure that you're having like the same quality and like level of experience that you would as in in-person class. But yeah, I think every instructor looks for slightly different things within the application, but I think the rule of thumb is like if you put in a little bit of effort and thought into your short answers and into the portfolio section, if there is one, that's probably just like the best thing that you can do. Yeah, because the number one thing that we usually look for is not even necessarily experience or anything like that. It's just that you really want to take this class.
There was a question about, or Julia says, I feel like I don't have that a lot of interesting things to take pictures of since I'm at home. Would it be better to take photography decal at Berkeley? That's actually a really good point, and I'm really happy that somebody brought that up. To be honest with you, our instructors expressed that worry last semester too, since last semester was completely online, but people actually ended up surprising themselves. We were really surprised at how much inspiration that people could draw even when they're from home. I think a really key part of this class is actually refining your eye and sort of being able to look for things, look for like very beautiful things in ordinary stuff. So I highly recommend actually taking it while we're in this time, because it really you benefit a lot more from working within constraints. So challenge yourself a little bit. I think it'll be to people's benefits. Yeah.
The application is also on our website, so you'll be able to find it through there.
Oh, I also see a question about what is the difference between the decals and the club, and that is a very good question. Innovative Design is also a club. We have our club info session on February 1st, and the difference between the club and the decals is our decals are for units, and you don't do any client work. It's just for you to grow as a designer. And our club, you also have an opportunity to grow as a designer, photographer, but our design and web teams also do client work. And in our club application, we also ask that you have a portfolio and some background in either design, web, or photography. And that's a really watered down explanation of what our club does. If you want more information, we have our info session on February 1st, as I mentioned before. And you can find a lot more information on our website, innovativedesign.club. And I can drop that in the live chat right now. Roxy has a question. What made each of you originally take the class? I'll go first because I took the photo decal in spring 2019, I think, with Tang. And I originally took it because I had a camera at home and I feel like I wanted to have more guidance in terms of how to approach photography and develop kind of an eye for photos. And that's what made me take it originally. And I am so glad that I did. And if anyone else who took a decal in the past wants to talk about it.
Yeah, I can just talk about it since I took the class with Lindsay. Yeah, taking the photo decal was actually my first ever like real way of learning how to use my camera. And I think we all know how hard it is to get into like an art practice class here at Berkeley. So I think this is just a really great accessible way of taking like a student taught class and just learning the basics.
I guess I can also speak on this because I took this in fall 2019, but I guess the summer before I got a camera, or I was able to borrow my brother's camera, but I didn't really know how to use like, I don't know, aperture and shutter speed. So I was kind of just playing around with it, and I wanted to have a more like formalized way of learning how to use it, but I also didn't want the stress of like a 3-4 unit class. And this was like a nice in-between solution, I guess, to have a more casual environment to learn.
Yeah, I actually had not taken any of the NOD decals before teaching a decal, so it was a good learning experience for me, seeing what the decals are like. It's like a part of our club that like we're really, really proud of. Like it's a really cool program, so I was like glad to be a part of that. But I would say like a good reason I think to take any of these decals is I think when you're in school and there's a lot of other things going on, it's hard to like shell out time to like develop creatively and like learn these new skills and like do a lot of like the things that you've like maybe wanted to do or like wanted to create. And I think by like putting a class behind it, taking one of these classes, you have like, I think a slightly more structured way to like encourage yourself to like create and like learn from others and make something over the course of the semester. And the hope is that like you'll walk out of this with like some new skills, but also some like tangible pieces that you can be really proud of. So yeah.
Adding on to what Rachel said, I also have not taken any of the decals, but the one thing that I see a lot in our feedback surveys at the end of the semester is that students find this class to be, it's like taking a break from academics, you know, because this class is, yes, it's teaching you something, but it's more relaxing. And like, I think something about the process of learning these art tools and learning how to make art, whether it's photographs or design, I think that is something that students find really relaxing. And a lot of students in those feedback surveys said that they found these homeworks to be kind of like their breaks from studying for other classes.
We'll be stopping the live stream at 5:45. So if folks have last minute questions, now's the time. Oh, Anchi asks, is having a professional camera necessary to take this decal? We think that you'll definitely get the most out of having a camera that is capable of shooting with manual settings and in RAW format, like a DSLR camera. And all the instructors will do their best to help you get a camera if you're on a budget. Yeah, we definitely recommend having a camera that is capable of those things. It's not like strictly required to have the camera though. And I think we have questions about camera recommendations. I'm so bad at gear. I don't actually know much about cameras, but when I took the decal, I had a Canon Rebel T3i, which I think the Rebel series are a lot of people's like first DSLR cameras. And I really liked that camera. I moved on to a different Canon, but I like that camera. It's nice to carry around if anyone has other camera recommendations.
The Rebel series is always a classic to start with. If you're looking for something super cheap, there's like my first camera was the Canon XSI, which is like the predecessor to the Rebel T series. It was like $50 on eBay. It's like a cropped sensor, so it's not like a professional camera, but it's an excellent entry camera, and you can get one of those for like really, really cheap. Cheaper than electronics should be. Yeah, but you just have to look at the right places.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I hope we got most of your questions answered, but if you have any lingering ones, you can email inod.decal@gmail.com. And we'll try to put the slides on our website in addition to a link to this recording. But if you want to watch any part of this stream again, I think the same link will go to the video, if that makes sense. YouTube like automatically records this. Yeah, thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you later.